I made it pretty far, all things considered. Thanks for your applause. Still every time I close the door and another won't open, I get this panic that my life is now on pause. The dark gets cleared, the board's been cleaned, there's nothing left on my screen. The plate is empty, so it seems. Now is the time to ask, okay, what's next? This was fun while it lasted, nothing comes till you ask it. So I'd really like to know what's next. Around the corner, down the street, whatever's meant for me to meet, I'm waiting for it anxiously. So tell me please, what's next? Daunting, thanks, I know. Silently it's haunting me and I'd like it to go. See, I could be 103 and still moving slow, full of promise and potential till my eyes finally close. But I got time, got years and years, work to do, but I got fears, and there's a ringing in my ears. So still I gotta ask, okay, what's next? This was fun while it lasted, nothing comes till you ask it. So I'd really like to know what's next. Around the corner, down the street, whatever's meant for me to meet, I'm waiting for it anxiously. So tell me please, what's next?
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I'm your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. We try to show up here every Monday morning on the Intuitive Prospector page to explore, to dream, to discover, to think outside the box, to encourage, to motivate, to inspire, to heal, to transform. That's what Metaphysical Mocha Mondays has been all season long. We're at our last show for the season. I'm getting ready for my winter break. So I always start off the end of the year by taking the month of December off. So I don't do any shows. I don't do any readings. I literally close down my studio for the month. I always like to, remind people, take the time to disconnect so you can make time to reconnect. And so I'll be reconnecting to my writings, my book, my newsletter that have not gotten out. I've got so many people to add to the newsletter, emails, and trying to train my new team for Inspired Living Radio. We have one podcast, or technically two podcasts. I've got a podcast this Wednesday where I'll be talking in detail about how to navigate through SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So that'll be this Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. You can always look for the show on your favorite podcasting platform, whatever that may be. We're on all. We're rated as the top 100 inspirational podcasts to listen to in 2022. hopefully that'll stay with 2023. But whatever your podcasting platform is, look for Inspired Living, and we shall be on there most likely. So this Wednesday, I'll be talking about SAD, how to navigate some tools to get through that. I did a show a couple weeks ago on that, but we're going to bring it to the airwaves. And then we have one more show in December where we're going to be talking with an angel expert, talking about the angels. And I thought December was a good month to talk about, with the holidays coming up and the angels. So this is my last show for today. As far as Metaphysical Mocha Mondays go, we'll have the Q&A cafe afterwards. Good morning to my team. I've got a beautiful team of volunteers. Good morning to all of you. We have a new member as well. Hopefully she is watching or on board. So good morning. Seeing a couple of you come on this morning. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning, Liz. Reg, good morning to you. Maria, good morning. Allison, good morning to you. Happy birthday. Spike Sereno, good morning to you. Christina, good morning to you. Christina actually made me this beautiful necklace. She does lots of great work. Nicole, good morning to you. Misty, good morning to you. All right. Liz, good morning. Kathy, good morning. Anna. So good morning to all of you. Good to see some of you here this morning. So a couple things I wanted to go over. First and foremost, thank you so much. Thank you to all of the followers of the Intuitive Prospector page. You guys are awesome. What can I say? You've moved the page to be over 40,000 followers, and I'm always humbled, and I always go back to when I first started this journey back. Would have been 2010 is when I actually really started to look at the Intuitive Prospector, and that's when I had my first session with Lisa Williams and really started to explore intuition and psychic and meditation and mediumship and all of the modalities of the clairs and the science behind it, the pseudoscience behind it. And I remember when I started the Intuitive Prospector page, and I made my business card, which I have to change my business card. So this is my business card that I started all the years ago, but I have to change it now because it actually has my phone number on it, and I'm going to change it because I have a business line now, because over the years I've gotten a little bit more busy, or a little bit more known in the world of what it is that I do. So I have now a business line, so I'll be updating my business cards this next month while I'm off as well. But I want to say thank you, a heartfelt thank you to all of you that follow the page, because we this last week we went over 40,000 followers on the Intuitive Prospector page, and I'm just very honored and humbled that many people would tune in to follow the work, to follow the journey, to prospect with me weekly, whether it's through the podcast or through shows like this, or if you're part of my Patreon prospectors, or you follow me on Insight Timer or Learn It Live or Clubhouse or Wisdom, wherever you're following me, and all the many different places that I am. Best Psychic Directory, Best American Psychics, Ariel Spiritual Community. You can ask to open up Alexa and say, Alexa, open up Positive Living, and you'll get daily tips, spiritual tips from me in my own voice, which is always kind of weird. I can't do it now because Facebook mutes it. But I just want to say thank you to all the followers of this page, because you officially put us over 40,000 followers. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that there's enough interest out there that people are interested and want to do this. And follow the work, follow the journey. I always say I'm like a spiritual buffet. You don't have to agree with everything that I say or everything that I put out there. You pick and choose what you want. Just like when you go to a buffet, there's, maybe you want the noodles, but you don't want the broccoli. Maybe you want the broccoli, but you don't want the carrots, right? And that's what I really offer to people. Sometimes it comes with, great ridicule and opinion. I've learned that over the years, but you keep moving forward through negativity. You keep moving forward through bias, through conscious bias, through opinions, through narcissism, through gaslighting, through negative people. I've really learned a lot these last few years about my journey, about myself. And I want to just say thank you for joining me on this journey and helping the Intuitive Prospector page have over 40,000 followers. That's still just very honored and humbling. So now if I can just get the blue check mark and get the page, validated, which I've tried for over a year with Facebook to no avail. I don't know how they say I don't qualify. I send my business license. I send my tax ID. I send, the Intuitive Prospector is a trademark name it's an actual business, but they just don't want to validate, and they're glad to take my money, but they don't want to validate my page to say who I really am. Because we get fake accounts created, and especially in the Q&A cafe, we'll get trollers and clickbaiters that'll come in and copy my likeness and then ask you for a free reading, or come to their page to give you a free reading. I don't do that. I don't reach out. My Intuitive Prospector page doesn't have friend requests, so you'll never receive a friend request from the Intuitive Prospector page. My private page, my personal page under my name, Marc Lainhart, is for that reason now. It's locked down, it's private, and just friends of friends. But you'll just know that you'll never get a friend request from the Intuitive Prospector page, because that's not how we roll. But if you do see something like that, please let me or my team know. You can message us, you can post on the Intuitive Prospector page, or send me an email, because we usually get people that say, hey, is this you? I've got a fake account. Happens on Instagram, hasn't happened on TikTok yet. And thank you to the followers over on TikTok. We've gone over 5,000 followers on TikToks, which is fun. And I'm having a lot more fun, a lot of different environment over on TikTok than I do here. I have a lot more fun and a lot more fun videos. So I want to say thank you so much for a great year. I want to say thank you to my team that has been with me this whole year, to volunteer their Monday mornings to come on as administrators for the page, to make sure that we're keeping the page clean, we're keeping the page and the show positive. And anytime we get negative comments or people that want to make fun or they think it's funny, we remove those comments, and my team helps give some eyes to that, because when I'm hosting and doing the producing through Zoom, I can't see all the moving parts. So, I've got a really great team. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for managing those comments and trying to keep social media positive, because that's really been my intent this last year, specifically after the last few years, when I even got my own, when I would actually, somebody threatened my life. That was kind of eye-opening, and I realized, like, let's move into social media. And social media can be a good thing, but it can also be a very bad, dangerous thing. And I really set the intent to really create a place of positivity, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, here on Facebook. I don't do a lot on Twitter anymore, to be honest with you. There's a new app that I'm on that my one of my nieces called Be Real. She got me on there. That's kind of fun, something different. But I'm on Tumblr, and I'm on LinkedIn and Pinterest, and that's kind of fun. But it's just it's been an interesting year, and I just want to say thank you for your time. Your time is your greatest commodity. And I really appreciate that more and more people want to volunteer to help with the show each and every week, to put that vibration, to put that energy, to put that light out into the world that seems to have lost its way. And just every day, I always say, I hope that your coffee kicks in before reality does, because there's just a lot going on in our reality, in our transformation, in our evolution in human society. We just went over 8 billion people. Think about that. There are over 8 billion people on the planet now. When I started my show, Inspired Living, in 2015, so we've been on the air for 7 seasons now. I did the promo to open up the show with my commercial. It says 7.3 billion people, but only one you. And since that time, the world has grown to be over 8 billion. Now, 8's an interesting number when it comes to numerology, but we've moved over 8 billion people in our population, and that's interesting to me. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I want to go over a few things this morning. I also just want to say thank you to, it's been a rough couple weeks. I kind of go inverted when I'm grieving or when we've lost a member of our family. And so I want to dedicate this show to my cousin Kyle Moto. I had the honor and privilege of doing his eulogy at his funeral in Montana. And we lost him. We didn't lose him, but he transitioned over out of the physical, beautiful soul that he was and is to the spirit world at the young age of 31 due to heart issues. And it was came out of left field. That's life, right? Life is the only thing that's consistent in life is change. And so it helps me to honor those that have moved over. I've lost a lot of people this year. My mentors have passed over. Family members passed over, a good friend passed over. So it's just a reminder to me to carpe diem, to seize the day. We're guaranteed, 2 things in life, and that's life and death. And I hope you choose life and to find the good in the day, to find things that make you happy. And I'm going to give you some things that don't require any talent, Zero talent that's really helped me. But I just want to say thank you for all the condolences, all the people that have reached out this last 2 weeks, especially during Thanksgiving, to just, give me like a digital hug or say, Mark, I'm thinking about you. So grief is a internal process that I always remind people. Everybody grieves differently. Mourning is how you express that. So I'm expressing my mourning for Kyle through the power of grief, and to continue to live on and to celebrate him. I tell you, it was pretty cool when we were coming into Montana. We actually saw a big moose off the freeway standing in the river, just huge moose with a big rack. And of course, I had to look that up. What did that mean from a totem animal spirit connection? And it represented a lot of what Kyle stood for in life. Big guy, gentle giant. And that was like a confirmation. And the night before, I think I said this last week, I was in Spokane for my Gonzaga. I got to see Gonzaga for the first time in Spokane, my hometown where I'm from. And I've never seen the Zags play. I've always seen them play in Vegas. Every year I go down to Vegas for the tournament down there, but never Spokane. And Kentucky had come to the Kentucky's, if you follow sports, Kentucky basketball is an elite program that goes all the way back, starting in the 1950s. And this is the first time they'd ever come to Spokane, Washington to play in the arena. And I had, long story short, I was up at a bar called the Park Inn, where my brother actually has a picture of him reading a book. And he's kind of like this with a pitcher of beer, because he always used to go up and hang out at the Park Inn. That was kind of his getaway from life, and read a book and just have a nice beer. And they actually have a picture of him in the Park Inn in the corner. We call it Todd's Corner. And so we went up there, which was awesome. And my niece ended up showing up, and it wasn't, she didn't know I was in town, wasn't planned. It was very random. And so I look over and I'm like, I think that's my niece. And that would be my brother's second oldest child. So I went over and put my hand on her, or put my elbow on her shoulder, and said, hey, you come here often? And she kind of looked at me like, oh, great, this guy's picking me up in the bar. And she looked at me, she's like, Uncle Mark, oh my God. And we hugged, and we ended up catching up for about an hour and a half. It was really good to see her. And she just happened to stop in to get a beer and plan her week out, just random. So, but I don't believe in randomness. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in synchronicities anymore. Einstein talked about coincidences being how God remains anonymous. And then as soon as we were done and left that bar, which we weren't supposed to be at because we were supposed to go somewhere else, so they couldn't take our reservation, on my way through the security gates at the Gonzaga game, looked down, one dime. And I got stacks of dimes right here in front of me, literally 3 stacks of dimes this high, because I find dimes. And now, from a logical standpoint, I know that somebody dropped that, or did they? But when I find dimes, it represents my brothers. And literally, there was just one dime right after we went through security, right on the ground. And I looked down at my buddy, my brother Kevin. I said, "Hey, look, a dime." And I looked back at the security line and I said, "See, my brother's around. I find a dime all the time." And she kind of looked at me like, "Great, dude, get going, get through security so we get to the game." But that's just a constant reminder of sign, symbol, synergy, and synchronistic events that take place when you are aware of that and you become aware. Because just because we don't see it here doesn't mean we can't see it there. I always say there's 3 eyes in life: 2 to look, 1 to see. And so it becomes quite interesting to me to have those signs, those confirmations, because they're talking to me without a vocal cord. They're talking to me through different means, which, communication just doesn't have voice communications. There's many options of the spirit world to communicate with you. And, my teachers have taught me that. My students have taught me that. And the spirit world has taught me that. So I was very excited to get that one dime on the ground, picked it up, put it in my pocket, knowing that my brothers, and especially my brother Todd, was confirming that meeting with my niece randomly in a town 300 miles away. So how cool is that? So I just want to say, thank you for all the outpouring of love and support the last few weeks. It's been difficult, I'll be honest with you. But again, this is my first rodeo, and I got into this work because of my own near-death experience, because of the trauma and the tragedy, or the TNT that blew my life up starting at the age of 27 with the loss of my brothers that moved into the spirit world, from murder to brain cancer, my father-in-law to MS, my real father to cancer. So just had a lot of transition. I was with my grandma that really started the process and helped her transition over. I didn't help her. I was just there and present, held space as she moved over. It was my first experience of being with somebody as they moved into the spirit world. And that kind of started off the journey years ago of the Intuitive Prospector that puts us here today to be talking on Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, have 40,000 followers on the page. my podcast, Inspired Living, the Alexa app, Positive Living, just asked to open up Positive Living. So I'm just grateful. I'm thankful. There's been a lot of ups and downs the last few years, but I'm really just humbled and just want to say I appreciate all of you. So thank you. So this morning, as we move into the holiday season, I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for me, I love. It's one of my favorite celebrations because it's really just eating and doing nothing and going off grid and watching football and watching basketball and watching hockey and spending time. My mother-in-law comes over and we spend time, and our good friends come over and we celebrate Thanksgiving. I've always kind of cringe with Thanksgiving because if you truly know the history of Thanksgiving, if you know the violence and the history of why Thanksgiving starting in Massachusetts, I know this because I lived in Massachusetts. I have visited Plymouth Rock, and there's actually a pretty dark, violent history about how Thanksgiving was actually first brought into the conscious awareness, going all the way back to the governor of Massachusetts. So, Thanksgiving, I just really try to appreciate it as a day of being around people and food and a roof over my head and clean drinking water and just a grateful, appreciative day of celebration, because there's a lot of people that don't have that. So this morning, as we get ready to celebrate the holidays, I want to share some wisdom. I want to just do a little bit of prospecting with you because this show goes by so quick. But when someone says happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, I know the world is very divided, especially here in the United States. But I've just seen people where, especially depending on where you go in the state, in the country, in the world, I've moved from saying Merry Christmas to happy holidays, and sometimes people get offended by that. And I just, I tell them to remember, I'm not doing it for any kind of political correctness. I do it out of respect. And what I've learned over the years, and here's the knowledge, here's the diamond, that because starting November 20th, which was last week, and moving all the way through November, December, and into January, up until January 24th, there are at least 14 different holidays that are celebrated. And these are religious holidays. These are different religious holidays. So when I say happy holidays to you, to a stranger, I now say thank you, because I don't know what you believe in. And, it's just called respect for you, respect for others, respect for what people believe in. And it's really not a war on Christmas. So that's just a reminder of why we say happy holidays. And moving forward, you'll hear me say happy holidays, and some people at night, it's not holidays, it's Christmas. That's based on a religious bias of your belief, and I don't know what you believe, and I'm just being respectful. So just remember that there are 14 different holidays between November 20th all the way running through January 24th, and it's okay to believe what you want to believe, but it's not okay to have your belief pushed on somebody else that may not believe the same way as you. And that's that's why religious wars have been fought for thousands of years. So I just wanted to share that little diamond as we prospect together this morning. And don't forget your coffee, don't forget your tea. I forgot to say that. Look at this drink I'm having this morning. Isn't this kind of a cool layered drink? So this is apple, celery, and some raspberry vitamin C mix that I have every morning to help with just joints and getting older and pain. But really the message I wanted to share with you this morning is a video that I threw together on my TikTok channel over at the Intuitive Prospector on TikTok. So I hope you'll give me a follow over there because I have a lot of different videos. But it's really the 10 things that require zero effort from you, zero effort. You may be thinking to yourself in this day and age, what am I good at? What are my skills? What am I, what do I want to be when I grow up? I'm over 50 and I still say that. So some of the things that require zero effort. First one, being on time. This is something, my mom would tell me I'd be late to my own funeral because I just, I'm so just laid back, and time is a construct, right? Time is something created by humans. We're the only species that pays to live here. We're the only species that measure our life by time. We're the only species that celebrates going around the sun once a year, which we call birthdays, which, that's a newer celebrating birthdays, if you know history and you study history like I do, and I'm a student of history, if you go back, even 150 years ago, some people didn't know how old they were because they didn't have the means or the time to celebrate their birthdays, right? So, it's only been about since the early 30s, late 20s, 30s, where people celebrated on an annual basis their birthdays. If you go back in history, people wouldn't even know how old they were, 50s, 60s. I don't know how much. And it's easy to do today, right? So being on time requires zero effort. And this is something I've had to really be mindful of and aware of, for a meeting, work, this show. Number two, work ethic. Takes zero talent to have good work ethic, just to show up. And I always go with the 4 agreements. Do what I say I'm going to do my best at what I'm going to do, don't make assumptions, and don't take things personally. That's from Don Miguel Ruiz, who I had the honor of interviewing last season on Inspired Living, his book called The Actor. But one of the very first books I ever read on my spiritual development was The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and the 4 Agreements. And also, what was the other one that was a big staple? The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Right here. This book is still on my bookshelf. This is Michael Singer wrote a great book. I hope to one day write a book of that caliber, hopefully. So being on time, work ethics, effort. Effort doesn't take any talent. It's just, what you put in, you get out. It's that universal law. Body language, zero talent to how you control your body language, how you respond, how you don't respond. And not responding is a response within itself. You don't need to respond to everything. Your energy doesn't require any talent. It may require like your boundaries and giving your energy away and life vampires and all that. But being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, those are the first 5 things that require zero talent on your journey, on your soul adventure as you prospect through life to discover and dream and explore what the many pathways that life has to offer. Your attitude. I always really try to get into an attitude for gratitude, to be thankful each day, to carpe diem. And, with the passing of a family member recently, it's just that constant reminder. You don't know what your last day on the planet is. I always think about people when they wake up, whether it's I'm thinking of the shootings that just recently took place, or car accidents or earthquakes or tsunamis, or just, normal wear and tear of getting older. And I just think, when they woke up, did they know that today was their last day? Did they understand that when they went to this nightclub in Colorado, or the recent shooting in Atlanta? We have a lot of shootings. The statistics is like 600 plus shootings for this year. And it's just, makes me not want to leave my house. But did they think, I'm going to go to this Q club tonight, and this would be the end of my journey? So it's just a constant reminder. I'm always thinking about death. I'm always thinking about the journey. I'm not scared of death. I respect death, because to me, just as John Lennon talked about, and I said this in the eulogy a couple of weeks ago, I'm not fearful of death because it's not real. It's like getting out of one car and into another. And in the journey, I've definitely found that to be true. So I don't fear death, but I constantly think about my transition. I think about other people's transitions. I had the honor and privilege to help with Kyle's transition. The family and his mom asked me if I would tune in and set an intention and hold space as they took him off life support, to make the transition. And from it came a beautiful song that they played at his funeral called "Let Your Love Flow" by the Bellamy Brothers. I had to actually look it up. I didn't know who sang it. So, there are things out there that you can do that require talent. You don't need to be talented. Everybody has a talent of something. Maybe you're a musician, maybe you're an athlete, maybe you're a playwright, maybe you're an inspirer. I didn't know I was an inspirer until I took my Myers-Briggs profile years ago. But being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, your attitude requires zero talent. Passion doesn't have to be talented. It has literally zero talent. Being coachable. One of the things that I've learned is, I've had to unlearn a lot of things that I've learned based on how I was raised, based on what religion I was brought up in. And I had to unlearn a lot of that because it didn't fit who I was and my authentic self and where I was going. And so I had to really be coachable by my teachers, by my mentors. And I've had some amazing mentors over the years, and one recently just passed into spirit, but she's still teaching me from the other side. It's quite interesting. She's still mentoring from the other side. That's the wonderful Mavis Patilla. I'm in her mentorship group and was actually there when I wasn't there, but I was a part of the professional group when she made her transition. And her partner, Jean, is still till February mentoring and teaching us. And Mavis comes through in amazing ways. So that's one of the amazing mentors that I've had over the years, to be coachable, to unlearn some of the stuff that I've learned. And Plato talked about people that know it all, that claim to know it all, really know nothing at all. So being coachable doesn't take talent. It's being humble and open and saying, how can I grow, even at the age of 50? Doing extra. There's no talent in doing something extra. Helping a stranger, helping an elderly person, smiling at a stranger. These are all that require zero talent. And of course, being prepared. That last one is my mantra. The mantra for the U.S. Coast Guard, where I served 8 years as a veteran, is semper paratus, and that means always ready. So one of the things that doesn't take any effort, it takes effort, but doesn't take talent, is being prepared, always ready, being prepared for, do you have a hurricane or an earthquake kit? Do you have a generator if you lose power? Do you have extra food? Do you have extra water? All of these things about, being prepared. Are you prepared for today? As I get up to get ready for the show, I don't have an agenda that a lot of my show is improv, and I sit on the mat right here and do a meditation and connect in, and then, think about what I want to say, and then I'm just prepared to go live. I don't have a script. I guess I got my chicken scratch here just so I can recall some of the ideas that I want to, talk about. But these are the 10 things that require zero talent: being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, being coachable, doing extra, and being prepared. So I thought I'd just leave that with you today. It's the last Metaphysical Mocha Mondays for 2022. We're going to move into 2023. A couple things that are taking place as I get prepared to upgrade my website and my services. I will be starting in 2023. I will be offering sound baths as a certified sound healing coach, I guess. So here in the studio, this actually pulls out into a nice bed. We do a nice sound bath. So I'll be offering sound baths in studio. I'll also be recording my next sound bath for Insight Timer. So if you follow me for meditations over on Insight Timer or Learn It Live, we'll be doing that. If you want to get on my Patreon Prospector page, those links are all at marclainhart.com. So just, I guess it's over here. Go right here to marclainhart.com. And you can get to all the links: my Soul Adventures newsletter, the latest podcast, the different links, my Patreon prospectors, because I will be working with my Patreon prospectors through December. And let's see here, what else? Going to be doing more CBD, so promoting that. That link is also CBD, which is hemp-based, but without the highs, and perfectly legal in all 50 states, Mexico, and Japan. So I'll be promoting more of that. I use Calm, I use Focus, I use little, they're called Dream Gummies to help us sleep. So I'll be promoting that. Awareness, Prime My Body is who I've been affiliated with. So that'll be coming. Going to be working with a little bit more crystals and stones as the Intuitive Prospector in 2023. And of course, I'll be doing events as they come up, and readings in person, over the phone, via Zoom, and at events. Conscious Wellness Expo is already planned for next April, I believe, so right after my birthday. So I'll have another booth there. And I'm going to be hopefully starting up a concept. Haven't got it all laid out yet, but it's pretty much spiritual consciousness and online services. So if you're interested in learning more, let me know. And last but not least, I'll offer this up to anybody that's watching. This next Wednesday evening, Pacific Standard Time, my development group, what's called SDG, my spiritual development group, we're going to be offering free holiday readings. And if you want a personal invite, I'll post that on my Intuitive Prospector page. If you're one of my Patreon prospectors, or you follow me on other social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram, that will also be posted for people to come into. It'll be via Zoom. It's going to start about 5:30 Pacific Standard Time and go for about 2 hours, where my students will be practicing psychic, intuitive, and mediumship. You'll have an opportunity to be put into a breakout room and just see, what unfolds for you, see what my students come up with. So if you're interested in that, send me an email, make a comment on this page. We'll make sure to post it. It will be a Zoom link with a password that will bring you in starting this Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. I hope that you'll join us, and a great way to get a free reading. It's our way of giving back pro bono, and it's a great way for my students to practice their abilities and their gifts and to share that. So if you are interested, let me know or leave a comment or send me an email. And with that, let's get ready for the Q&A Cafe. How the Q&A Cafe works is I take your questions. Sometimes it's cards, sometimes it's intuition. We'll have mediums back, healing mediums back in 2023, where we did breakout rooms and offered healing. I always remind people that we are channels for healing, but we don't actually heal people. We give them the opportunity to open up to heal themselves and hold space. And when it's healing mediumship, we had that a couple weeks ago with Rosie and Reg, and they did a really good job as training certified healing mediums. And so put people in breakout rooms. We don't put it out there for the public to watch, but it's a great way to just heal from any traumas or tragedies or a loss of a loved one, to honor your grief through, the power of mourning, whatever that may be for you. And, just practice being human beings. We all have something that's going on in our lives. And, this is a place here on the Intuitive Prospector page that we can offer these services. We can offer, inspiration, healing mediumship, messages, sound baths, meditations. We'll be doing more of that in 2023. I will be back for another season of Inspired Living, which will put us into our 8th season. We're going to have some amazing guests that we're already starting to schedule out and bring in for 2023. And with that, I think that's it for the last show. Like I said, I take the month of December off to really just rejuvenate, to revive. I call it spiritual maintenance, to just, do some other things and opportunities that I don't get a chance to. Because you may not know this, but I actually have a part-time federal day job that I work at. And I also teach down at Harborview, teaching classes as a certified healthcare provider. So I get really busy. And so this, at the end of the year, I'm pretty burned out. And so this is something my mentor about 3 years ago had me start. And I recommend it to anybody. Take that break, take that, take that time to disconnect, so you have the time to reconnect. So with that, happy holidays. Thank you so much for following the journey, following the work. Again, I'll be back in 2023. You can get, there's 2 more Inspired Living podcasts still yet to come. One this Wednesday, and then one on the 14th of December, where we'll be talking about the angels. And then we'll be back in 2023 with all sorts of stuff. Hopefully I can get my online store built so we can sell merch and product like this, Calm, because this really does help. Lavender Love that I sell locally here in the West Seattle area. This is what it looks like. Oh, no, I don't think I have a bottle with the right label. Oh, here it is, Lavender Love. So that's actually going to try to sell that, some crystals and some stones. That's the goal. That's the intent. But you have to have time to create, to set the intention, and then the time to create that intention, to manifest it into reality. So with that, happy holidays to you. Thank you for the follow. I'll see you again in 2023. If you want to stick around for the Q&A Cafe, where I'll respond directly to your questions. You can come and have a chat, sip of coffee in the Zoom room. And I think we'll take it out with, what's a good song to take us out with? How about Real Life? Because there's just a lot of real life going on out there. Prayers and hope for peace in our world, for the Ukraine, Russia. What do I want to say? Kerfuffle. War, is never great. And welcome to our Roaring 20s. There's more transformation to come, so buckle up. And I hope that you are happy and healthy and full of hope, and that your holiday season is filled with good health and friendships and family, and just an attitude for gratitude. So thank you for hanging out with me this morning. So adventure together. Be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, wherever you're out in the world, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and I hope you discover that diamond within. And I'll see you next time in 2023 for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Until then, blessings, namaste.
Lights are out, system down, and trying to pay rent. I gotta work it out, but it ain't that easy. Work 9 to 5, can't sleep at night, my money's all spent. I do anything to not go crazy. Whoa, miss the days when I was 18. Whoa, wish that I could turn back time. Whoa, take me back, please someone save me. 'Cause I'm not that good at real life. Oh, take me back in time. I'm not that for real life. Lights are out, system down, and trying to pay rent. I gotta work it out, but it ain't that easy. Work 9 to 5, can't sleep at night, my money's all spent. I do anything to not go crazy. Whoa, miss the days when I was 18. Whoa, wish that I could turn back time. Whoa, take me back, please someone save me. 'Cause I'm not that good at real life. Oh, take me back in time. I'm not that for real life.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.